Hello everyone, and welcome to the Mitel 6110 reporting tutorial, part 2. In the first video titled as Mitel 6110 reporting tutorial, you learned how to access your help manuals, your site key, the contact phone number to Prairie Fire Technical Support, as well as how to access and run any reports. In a related video titled Mitel Contact Center Client Installation, you learned how to access the 6110 and install the contact center client on your agent machines. But today we'll be focusing on the 6110, more of an administration side of the 6110. And as of always, as long as your software assurance is up to date, you may contact Prairie Fire directly, and of course that phone number is found underneath the Help tab, About Mitel Applications, and Contact Info. Now, before we leave this Help tab, I do want to bring your attention to a specific manual that will be applicable for today. This Contact Center Solutions User Guide, a lot of great information found underneath this area here for some of the things we're going to be going through today. And of course, here are those report manuals that we talked about in the previous video. So let's get started. Today we're going to just hang out in three areas. We're going to be underneath Tools, we'll talk about Your Site, and lastly, My Options. So let's swing back over to this Tools and let's have a conversation about some of these areas that we found in here. At the very top we've got Administrative Tools, Forecasting, and Data Mining. We'll come on into the Admin Tools and we'll talk about each one of these items within this area here. Now, this service notification. If you make any changes to the contact center client or maybe a wallboard and you wish to push those changes out to your staff, that's how you're going to do that right here. So let's come on into that area momentarily. It says notify your real-time clients, meaning that staff members that have that contact center client loaded on their PCs in order to be viewing real call stats, and just says notifies the clients and updates the real-time applications, the contact center client, wallboard, and so on, with the changes you make to your site database. So that's how you push those changes on out to your staff members. So we'll come back underneath the admin tools. This manage computer names. Actually, you will most likely never need to access this particular area due to the fact that this would have been configured by your installing technician. But we do have a field labeled as manage device names. We're going to come into this area here and let's take a quick look at it. It says you can change the names of all devices associated with an employee, meaning the extensions and multiple extensions, account codes, and agent login IDs to the employee's name. Let's expound on that a little bit. I have it in Mitel desk phone, and it is programmed as a hot desk extension. So when my extension, my hot desk extension is logged out, the phone shows one particular extension number, and then when I go through my login steps, then actually my phone logs in with another assigned extension number. So we're going to come up underneath, we're going to digress just momentarily, we're going to come to your site configuration, and we're going to take a quick little peek at that. I just hover my mouse, and of course I am an employee, so we'll come back into this area here, we'll come to employee, and these are all of the devices that are currently programmed within our phone system here at the office. You can see there's a lot of devices programmed in our switch here. But at the very bottom of this page, there's a tab or a find button. So I'll click the find button and I'm going to search for the two extension or two IDs that are associated specifically to me. So my unassigned hot desk extension happens to be 5284. I'll do a quick search and the name pops up as Operations Cubicle 6. 5284 is my device. But if I do a quick find at the bottom and I type in 7284, you'll see that I have another device associated specifically to me. This particular device is associated to my name. So that's where this tool, administration tools, and manage device names comes into play. It just kind of associates all devices to a specific username. Here we have the manage the mail server. I'm not going to take you into this field here today due to the fact that if we open this screen, we will have access to our mail server IP address, our mail server login ID, and our mail server password, which you can understand I don't wish to share with you, but it is standard SMTP protocols with utilizing port 25, nothing funny underneath there. We do have an administrative report right here. This is all about any changes made in the 6110 regarding an agent or a queue will auto-sync to the phone system. And these reports will give you the synchronization status. Let's take a quick little look here. We'll drop ourselves into the admin reports and we will look at the report that was run last night. We'll do a quick view. You can see that on the 14th at 2 a.m. the 6110 did an auto sync to the Mitel phone system. Took about 16 minutes to do, and we can see that there was actually one change yesterday. One of our techs must have gotten into the 6110, made some type of a change within the 6110 on agent's extension number, and at 2 o'clock this morning, the 6110 would have pushed that change out to the phone system. So let's go ahead and close that. Come back underneath tools. Here we've got a forecasting tool right here. This is an optional application. It's utilized to estimate staffing and traffic volumes. It's an effective management tool because staffing forecasting is not an exact science. And if you do utilize this forecasting tool, you must need to load your historical data. You'll actually want to specify quite a large date range, because the more data that you input, the more accurate that your forecast will actually be. Remember, this is an optional application. I'm going to do one specific date. I'm going to just do the 14th, select my date range, and I want to load the data from all active queues. I would highlight my queue, and of course I would select submit. So that is my optional staffing. Underneath here we've got option entitled data mining. This tool consists of two applications, ACD and SMDR. SMDR, station message detail recording. And for further information, access your Contact Center Solutions user guide and search for data mining. But we'll go through this real quick here. The ACD inspector, this application searches for agent and ACD queue records. For an example, you may want to find the exact time an agent logs off for lunch. And let's actually do that. Let's run an ACD inspector. Take a second to actually load here. And I'm going to scroll down, because at the bottom of this page, hopefully we can get that up high enough. Currently, agent events comes up default, but if we want to look for an event that is specific agent, or we can look for a specific queue event, you just select queue events. Now, of course, you would select a date range and input your date range. Input them in this area here, and this is fairly important right here. It says the queue information, ACD queue or agent group. As you've probably noticed that in all of these training videos on the 6110, I always pick on our tech line, the line all of our technicians call in here, and of course that is the tech line is 333. So in this area here, you must input the letter P followed by the particular queue group that you wish to look for. So this P is always a required field, stands for path. So don't forget to input your P if you're going to look for specific information on a specific Q group. So then you'll input your information and you will click what you're actually looking for, maybe Q stats, agent group stats, and so on. And then you will select your submit or start search, which is at the bottom of the page. So that is found underneath tools, data mining. Now here we have SMDR inspector. This is an optional app and it stands for station message detail recording. This information, or called detail records, are usually created at the end of a call, and it's output from the phone system and on a SMDR port. And some of the details may include the time, the date, call duration, the number dialed, call ID information, and extension. Let's just take ourselves in there real quick, just momentarily, SMDR. And as you can see, we have call parties, call types, and options. All this information is blank. Maybe you're looking for maybe just a particular call that was answered by a non-ACD agent or so on. You will choose your information, the date range you're looking for, and then you have a submit or start search down here at the bottom. So those are all of our applications found underneath tools. And next we will be accessing your site and going through the options underneath your site. Okay, next we're going to move underneath your site and we'll drop down and take a look at these areas right here. We start out right at the very top and we see Enterprise. Enterprise is the server in which the contact center management has been installed upon. So let's take ourselves in there real quick and just take a quick little peek. Of course, here's the IP address right here. Here's the ports that it streams the data from. And here you can enable or disable those life cycle reports, those cradle to grave reports. Not recommended that you enable those life cycle reports, as it does burn a lot of memory on the server. So let's take a quick little look at the advanced tab, and here's where you can purge specific reports for a specific number of days and so on. So here we have email alarms. This field right here should be filled out with your email address or your IT department email address. If for some reason the system quits streaming data or the disk threshold becomes low, you're going to want to know, you're going to want to receive an email at this email address right here. System messages display the warranty warning and expiration message. By default, your tech should have enabled this. Screen pops recall the contact center client installation and overview, where we talked about the soft phone application that your agents may use. Here's where they can launch a specific application from that soft phone anytime they take an ACD call. And also, if licensed with the optional intelligent queue, then Annie, the DNIS, and the collect the caller entered digits on the soft phone pop up. Workforce management, optional application. If your company has purchased the optional workforce management, then you will be trained on site on your system on this workforce management. So that was found underneath your site, Enterprise. So let's look at configuration right here. Configuration is where you're going to edit your staff members or queues. It's to set up, edit employees, agent, account codes, make busy reason codes, and employee login passcodes. So let's come into configuration and we'll hover over at the left hand side and we'll come up to an employee and we'll take a quick little look at an employee. We'll search for a specific employee. We'll come down, we'll select our find option. And we'll input the employee name or login ID, agent ID, or extension number. In this case, we're going to just input an extension number and select search. There the employee pops up and you can edit the employee name, employee ID or extension number, the email address that the employee will receive reports at if they are set up as a supervisor or manager. And underneath the user account, right here is where you will reset the employee's login password. So that's found underneath configuration, employee. Let's look at agents over here. Let's look at agent groups. So here's that tech line that we always pick on. So let's first of all look at the members in the tech line. This is where you're going to add or remove agents from a particular queue group right here. And let's come back to, let's go edit the agent group. And reporting number 006, agent ID group 1006. This particular number right here, 006, this is an arbitrary number. Of course, it's an arbitrary name, but when you run your reports, it will be reporting on the tech line, which is known as 006. The agent group ID is 1006. So we'll go back to that edit agent group members or agents in the group. And let's come back down to, let's look at make busy reason codes. If your agents are utilizing make busy reason codes, here's where they are input or edited. Some companies choose to use make busy reason codes, others do not. As you're well aware of, that a agent will have a make busy key placed upon their phone, and that make busy key just temporarily suspends them from receiving ACD calls. If your company is using make busy reason codes, then the agent will press their make busy key and dial the digits 1 through 9, pound or star with your customizable reason codes right here. And then when you run your make busy reports, then you'll see how many times a specific agent went on break or when they went to training and so on. So that's our make busy reason codes. So we'll come back to your site and let's take a look at this network monitor, configure our alarms. We'll do a quick little edit. Your technician should have taken care of this for you. And there's where you're going to change the load disk threshold right here. Your choice. What do you want? What you want to set that at? And we'll come back to schedule right here. All right, so we have a schedule here named normal hours. Let's take a little look at it. And these are the hours that our agents take calls from customers, 7 in the morning until 5:30 at night, closed on Saturday and Sunday. So that's our schedule. And lastly, we have security with security roles. Here's where you can edit the applications available when you assign a security role to a particular agent, manager, or supervisor. This is where you will check or uncheck the applications available to that particular security role. So those were items found underneath your site. Next, we'll be going through options. Okay, and lastly, we'll go through my options here. We see at the very top we've got my preferences. This is to change your language and the number of records that you can view when you select your site configuration when you're editing employees. We'll jump in there real quick. And there is my language display and those number of records when I'm using the configuration tool. So let's come into my security role. and just to view the properties associated to your particular security role. Lastly, to change your password, your login password, and then my contacts. This is where you're going to set up and create a list of email contacts or contact groups that when you email reports and so on. So this is my contacts and my shared contacts, and I can also select create my groups and create a new group by selecting add, giving it a title, a description, and then adding the email addresses or members that I wish to disperse my reports to. So that is a quick overview of the tools, your site, and my options. Thank you for joining today and enjoy using your Mitel Contact Center management.